Patreon, going strong. If you want to go over there and join in on the fun, we got 3 tiers on Canadian dollars. First tier is $3 a month, where you get these episodes ad free. You also get AMAs once a month, or learn about me episodes once a month. And then on the second tier, which is $5 a month, you get everything from the first tier, as well as coverage of a reality show of yesteryear. That's right now Jersey Shore, currently in season 3. You can also go to the main feed, where there will be the first episode of every season released there. So you can try that before you head over to the Patreon. And then on the third tier, you get everything from the first 2 tiers, as well as coverage from a true crime documentary. We got the backlog of Ashley Madison documentary, Man with 1,000 Kids, Into the Fire, Lacey Peterson, and again, all those episodes for the first episode of each is in the main feed, so you can try that before you head over. So if you are interested, you can head over to patreon.com/realityt times 2, and you can sign up for whichever tier you feel for. Again, you can try before you buy, which basically means you can try any tier for a week before committing to it. Even if you are on other tier, if you are on tier 1 or the first tier and you want to go over to the second tier, you could still try that second tier for a week before committing to the upgrade. So again, that is at patreon.com/realityt times 2. And of course, the link is in the show notes, website, social media accounts. It's all available there. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we will be discussing the final episode of Love is Blind UK, and that is the reunion. Yo, this reunion was more than I thought it would be. Yikes, yikes, yikes. But let's just get right into it, y'all. We're just gonna jump in. So everyone knows Love is Blind season 9. I'm working on it. Those episodes will start coming after this pretty quickly afterwards, I think. Those will be again available first on the Patreon, and then will be released to the main feed a week after that. So if you want to jump in with that, you can head on over there, and that's where they'll be. And or you want to wait the week, go ahead. But anyways, let's jump in with the reunion. This photo booth situation in the beginning of the show was so good. So perfect. Yeah, what you doing? This is like the cutie pie that's doing it great. Matt literally says, "This is going to be a great reunion. I can feel it in my spleen." Katisha could not even get further away from Jevin if she could. Like, my girl is just, get me away from this man. It was amazing. But we are going to start with Cal and Zarova. This shook me. I was surprised by this. They are not together. And here's what happened. So 3 months after they were together, he just walked away, she says. She was blindsided. And he, I think I wrote interrogated, but that's not right. But anyways, here's what happened. They had a magical Christmas on January 2nd. And hold on to this, okay? Hold on to this storyline if you hadn't already seen this. On January 2nd, he very coldly said to her that it was over. He made the decision for both of them, he says, which I hate that shit. I cannot stand when a man thinks he can make a decision for you as a woman. You can't make the decision for us. We need to talk about that together. or at least make me feel like I'm a part of the decision. Nothing irks me more than a man trying to be like, well, I'm making this decision for the both of us. So fuck you and your decision. Seriously. He gave her three reasons as to why he was ending this. Number one, no spark. Nothing, apparently. Number two, very different people. Okay. y- You 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 would have known that prior to marrying her. How do you just figure this out now? Number three, she's also more emotional and more affectionate than he is. Okay, it's very possible that you might have someone who's a little bit more affectionate than you. That's not abnormal. But the other half of this, you're more emotional. That makes me think, well, you're a woman and women are so emotional. Like, fuck him. That's where I'm at. He said, well, you ignored my texts after the breakup. Why do you think you deserve a text message back? Like, why? And what is the point of me messaging you back? Is that going to make a difference? No, it's not going to make a difference. You just want to, I don't know, add more salt to the wound. Like, I don't understand if people who break up with somebody and think they are owed a text back. You're not. She said, no, until I ignored you, I would ask you, like, let's talk about this because it's a marriage. And he would send like gifts as a joke or gifs, whatever the fuck. Listen, I don't want to be sent the Annalise gif of the, walk away with purse. I don't want to be sent the Steve Harvey, what the fuck is wrong with you? Look on his face. I don't want that. I don't want that. That is not personable. I, I, I rarely use gifs with my boyfriend, very rarely. I tend to allot those more to my friends, but I have used them with him too once in a while. But it's usually in a joking situation, not a serious one. So this would not constitute gifs, gifts, whatever the fuck. He says nothing happened. Nothing happened that made him want to end this relationship, which is worse in my opinion. He said that she was a great wife, but he said that they got into an argument at the end of their honeymoon, which was in October, apparently. So let's remember, he ended the relationship on January 2nd. So the end of their honeymoon was in October. Here's the thing. It is not unusual to get into an argument in the first little bit of your marriage. It's not, especially when you only knew each other for, say, 2 months at that point. When I got married, me and my ex got into an argument within the first 2 days after getting married, so it's not crazy. Now, that's not to say, "Oh, I ended my marriage because of that fight we had." No, that doesn't make any sense. It can be a buildup of things maybe, but it's like you didn't even really give it a chance. The first year is the hardest year, and my God, if you can't make it the first year, well, then I I don't know what to say. Um, so he makes some smart ass remark about, sorry, I paid for something on my back or some shit like that. It was weird. Um, and then he says it had to do with intimacy. And she's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Intimacy. He says physically and emotionally, she wanted more and he couldn't give more. So my question is emotionally, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Does like I mean, emotionally, I guess mean I can kind of break that down a little bit. But what what is she expecting that she can't get? Is my question. 'Cause she seemed pretty reasonable. We saw them being, filmed. He was saying things like, you give me the right amount of space, and I'm just trying to understand what the difference is and what changed. And physically, what does that mean? I think she does kind of explain, I guess from her perspective, the hand holding and all of that. Um, why is it a big deal to hold hands? That's public sign of affection doesn't just mean like making out in the middle of the street, which I hate that shit, mind you. But holding hands, there's nothing wrong with that. Showing that there's love and affection in the relationship, there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm just, does he doesn't have the maturity or the emotional maturity to be that for someone? Or is it his uncomfortability in PSA? Or um, is it her? Is it that he's just not into her? I don't know. Um, she asked, "Why did you marry me?" Very, very good question. She's like, "You knew my love language before." The guy was the same person. So, like, I did not change. You know what I mean? We bring up sorrow over his mom in the situation because obviously, looking back at it, I guess her mom maybe had the right idea. Cal says, "I thank you," saying this to her mom was here. "I thank you for treating me so well. I'm so sorry that I let you down." Bali, who's her mom, says, "As a mother, to hear my daughter so hurt, it's out of the blue. It wasn't real. It wasn't real. How could it be? You were only married for 3 months. You only gave it 3 months. That is probationary period." You know what I mean? I guess like a probationary period. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Cal says, "Well, I disagree. Nice to know that you disagree, but I don't care that you disagree because your actions prove that she's right. It wasn't real." She says, "You gave her nothing and you made a decision for you," which, on the one hand, yes, I don't disagree. You should make a decision for yourself. But on the other hand, I do think when you're talking about a marriage, you have to think of the bigger picture. It isn't just about you. And I think you should have maybe gone to her, said your concerns, give this a go, maybe give it another 3, 4, 5 months and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you didn't give it a chance. 3 months is not that long. All in all, these two were together for 5 months. That's not that long. Um, he apparently said to her, like, "Go chill. I'll go to the gym," or something like that. From his perspective, he thought that he handled it better, which clearly he didn't. This is what he said to her, like, after. Oh, sorry, I said that wrong. After he ended it, he had said to her, "I'm gonna go to the gym and you chill." After he broke up with her, it's like, what? This is not how you handle things. But Bali says that she's okay. She's gonna be okay. She's going to be moving forward. She's gonna be fine. Sorover says that he would tell me if there is anything going on, like, I will tell you. And he apparently did not keep that end of the bargain. He didn't tell me until that day. And Cal says, "I'm not built for a long-term commitment, my fucking guy. You came on a show called Love is Blind. You know the premise of the show. The whole point of this freaking show is to get engaged and get married potentially at the end of the 4 weeks. There is nothing more long term than that. So if you know in your heart of hearts, you are not built for a long term commitment, why in Lord's Jesus did you come on a show called Love is Blind where you get married at the end? Why? Make it make sense." And it was at this time that I said, "Oh, his brother called it from moment one and nothing to do with Sarova. It had everything to do with Cal because he knew his brother." How fucked up is that? Oh, Sarova says, "But you married. You married me. It is a long-term commitment, a legal commitment, even more so." His brother's here, of course, and he says, I do think he went into this with the right intention. Did he, though? Because you literally said, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" So, did he really come in with this with the right intention? Maybe he did. But I'm sorry, but if you know of yourself that you are not built for a long-term relationship, this is not the show for you. Did you only come on the show so you can be teed up for perfect match? Like, I'm just trying to understand. She says, "I saw myself in love. Were you in love?" And Cal says that he did love her, which maybe he did. Maybe he did. But it's just, it didn't mean anything. He's like, "You couldn't fake that." So then what changed? What changed was nothing changed. That's the thing. Nothing changed because this is always how he is. Um, he's just incapable, as he said, to be in a long-term relationship. He's not built for it. So that then shows nothing changed. That's the problem. In his case, you wanted something to change. It didn't. Um, it's a tough question to answer, he says. And she says, "Well, because of that, I will never have the closure." So that's basically it. That's that's the relationship with Cal and Sorova. So we're like, God damn. Like, and y'all, the punches are gonna keep punching. Yeah. Hi everyone. So I have a new product for you to take part in. This is for J Armor wallets. Now, you can get these wallets for a pretty good price. Partially, it seems at this point, partially American made, but they're going to be planning to be completely American made by the year 2027. The fun part is that you can actually see what new wallet styles are going to be coming in 2026. So a little bit about the company. The company was founded by Jake Hernandez, who is also a part of the U.S. Air Force veteran, or he is a U.S. Air Force veteran. So with his business, he is also supporting charities like anti-child labor organizations, veteran support programs, and efforts to rebuild American manufacturing. So this is clearly something that is very important to him, and honestly, really important to me as well. And for, if going to the link in the show notes, which I will say what that link is in a minute, but going to the link in the show notes not only helps support this podcast, but is also helping to support J Armor as well as helping support the charities that he finds near and dear to him. So if you go to the show notes and you find that link, the link is jarmorwallets.com/reality times 2. So that is j-armorwallets.com/REALITEATIMESTWO. So I hope you go on and support not only me, but as well as this company. Now, that's enough of me. Let's go back to the episode. So we move on to Barda and Jed. So she says she sticks by her decision for not, marrying Jed that day. And she says that he showed her signs throughout that process, which I wish we saw, that he was not compatible with her. He says, I would have said yes. He sticks by, he would have said yes. They did try to give it a chance afterwards. They did end up moving in together, but they were butting heads and they ended up breaking up. And we do get a little bit more information on this. She did keep the ring on about they're trying to make it work as a sign of her commitment, which she kind of says she regrets doing. Which I mean, if you're not engaged, you're not engaged. I wouldn't keep the ring on. But anyways, there was an incident where he asked her to take it off. Again, I'm gonna get a little bit more information on that too. She said it pissed her off, but then she later found out that his ex was in the room for which he was kind of saying, I don't take the ring off. So she said she took it off. And he apparently got mad that she took it off. She's like, okay, y'all fucked up. You can't say take the ring off. She actually takes the ring off and you get mad about her taking the ring off. You know what I mean? He said, listen, everyone knows everyone in Essex. And he said something about like, um, to do with people seeing it and then thinking that they were married. But who cares? Who cares? But she says, but you never told me that she was in the room. Talk about the ex. They said that they went out to dinner with pot people and he saw it was off at that time. So I don't know if this was separate from the ex being in the room or what, or the same time as her being. I have no clue. And he said that it upset him. And he says, but you told me it fell off in the shower. So which is it? Are you not wearing the ring because it fell off in the shower, or are you not wearing the ring because the ex was in the room? Like, which is this? Um, she says, well, it did fall off in the shower and I left it off. Okay, so did you leave it off because the ex was in the room and he told you to take it off? Or did you just say, you know what, fuck this, I'm not going to keep wearing this ring anymore, and you took it off because you know what I mean? It's very confusing. She said this all happened, wait for it, guys, in the space of 3 weeks post the wedding. This is too much 3 weeks post the wedding. This is all too much. And it also feels like it's not enough time. Like, I feel like you at least needed a week or two to process that the wedding wasn't even going to happen anymore. But, whatever. Um, she ended up going to Dubai after that, and she says she has been there ever since. Good for her. But he says that he would still pick her, but it's all over. It's fine. She's good. She's like, no, thank you. I'm good. We see Freddie and Demi here talk about stuff. Who really cares? Freddie looks great. We'll see him on Perfect. What's it called again? Perfect Match? Yeah, that's it. Anyway, she basically, after that, because we're still kind of on Jen and Barda here, she just kind of says, after we talked to Freddie and Demi, she says, I wish you all the best. Far away from me. That was funny. We see Jasmine and Bobby, if you remember them from the first season of the UK. They're pregnant. Yay! Moving on to more drama. Ashley and Billy, they're next. They are also not together, and I said, so what the hell is this? They're not together. She says she did not feel reassured by him after the wedding. It felt like he went into dating mode, not marriage mode, which is like, that defeats the purpose here. We're trying to get married, you know. But I think there is a world where, especially in this process, where you can be in marriage mode and dating mode at the same time because you guys are so new to each other. I think there can be a happy medium with that, mind you, but well, who am I? He says, I struggled with going into reality because they have not been living in reality this entire time. He said he felt disconnected. So I don't know if he felt disconnected from reality or if he felt disconnected from her. I don't know. She says, I brought him into this cabin crew lifestyle that he was so concerned by. Going on trips, this, that, or the other, like my guy is living the life. But he says, I try to adapt when it comes to food because as we saw before, he's like, I only eat minced rice and broccoli, and she wants to add cake into her life sometimes, which I see no problem with. But she shakes her head no. She's basically saying, no, he did not try compromising when it came to food. She says during Christmas and New Year's, that's kind of when he seemed a little bit cold. That he didn't seem in this so badly to the point where her family's actually pointing it out that he seems really cold and doesn't want to be here. So on January 1st, Happy New Year, they had a conversation. And that conversation obviously led to breakup. She's like, you only gave this 3 months. Hold on to that, y'all. Because I think I said that because I recorded the earlier part about a week ago. So I can't remember if I said it then. But hold on to that because we talked about it with Cal and Sarova. We talked about it there too. That he only gave it 3 months. Okay. She's like, the fact that he only gave it 3 months, especially with him being in a second marriage, you think he would try a little harder. Fair? She's like, I wish that he just said no. Girl, I wish you did. I wish you said no. I'm surprised he didn't say no, mind you, but I wish you said no. I wish you were like, no, I do not want to be with a man who can't accept my job. I don't want to be with a man who's going to tell me what I can and can't eat. I don't want to be with a man who's not sure about me, despite all of that shit, all that noise. I wish you said no, but here we are. She also says he was deployed for about 3 months, so the entirety of their marriage so far. And she's like, well, I was okay with it, but he can't handle me being in cabin crew. Sure, Jan. He says that there was no compromise with her. There's no compromise with you. You're going to sit here and actually say there was no compromise with her when really and truly the thing you really want to say is you won't listen to me. Fuck that. But he says like she wasn't compromising about living halfway. She says, you ended the marriage with me, so let's have a little bit of accountability. So Billy, we do find out, did confide in Cal about how he was feeling. Meanwhile, coinciding with the fact that Cal is also feeling what he's feeling, right? And with that, their relationships both ended at the same time. Billy ended his on January 1st. Cal did his on January 2nd. You know what I mean? It's very weird that this happened literally back to back. And Ashley says the things that were said to me and the things that were said to Sarova are very similar, like a script. Yike. But I could have told you that. It's just a coincidence. And you know what? In the words of the little man in The Incredibles, coincidence? I think not. Yeah, I think not. Anyways, Cal denies that, of course, because what's he gonna do? Say the truth? That make him even more hated. Sarova says, how do we trust you? Exactly. How would we trust you? Them and the viewers. And Ashley says, why did you marry me? And he says, well, because I loved you in that moment. But that's not enough to love you in that moment. I want you to know that you will love me past that moment. Because if you're only going to love me in that moment, don't marry me. That's fleeting. I want to know that you're going to love me past that to the point where nothing will ever change that. Ashley says, I wanted someone to make me feel safe, who understands my role and our roles were similar. So who better to understand my job and my roles than you? That's basically what she's saying. She wants someone who has a backbone. She says, I deserve that. And if yes, you do deserve that. We all deserve that. Emma just kind of starts crying after this. And I'm like, there's so sweet. Can we have them on the regular version? Is that possible? One can wish. But anyways, that's basically Ashley and and Billy. So Katisha and Jevin, buckle up. So Katisha and Jevin are here. Hold on tight to your butts while we do this. She says, I picked Jevin for a reason. What's the reason? What's the reason? Why'd you pick him? She says, it's not to say anything is wrong with Demola, but I had to make a choice and I made it. Why? I would love to know your reasons behind why you picked Jevin over Demola. I don't know. And Demola is here and he says, my feelings were strong, maybe a little too strong, but I trusted her guts, and she went with her gut and she got what she got. Demola is still single, by the way, so if anyone wants to slide into his DMs, you may do so. Now for Jevin. Were you here for the right reason? He says yes. I say, fuck you. You lie, you lie, you liar. You a liar. Um, and that he had great times with Katisha, and she can text me anytime, and I will talk to her. What? First of all, sir, why would she call you? What do you need to say to her? And what does she need to say to you? What? She can call me anytime. Get the fuck out of here. But she can call me anytime. No. He's like, I don't think she wants to, though. You damn skip it. You damn skip it. She don't want to talk to you. And she says, I wish you said that in person. I said, what in person? Oh, y'all, the part where he said, you can call me anytime. First of all, two things here. Two things. Number one, he never would have been able to tell you that in person because you dipped in the middle of the night, which I think was perfect, and that's how this should have gone. Number two, why do you need him to do it? Because then that shows me you only are still seeking his validation, and you're never going to heal better yourself after this monstrosity of a relationship with this man. Why? There's not a damn thing this man can say. And you want to sit here and be like, well, I wish you said that to me in person. The fuck? No. So, what about you saying to Kieran you weren't in love? Like, would you have gone all the way? So the whole thing that he apparently said to Kieran. He says, I talked to Kieran because he was further along than I was. But that does not answer the question of, but did you, did you, if you weren't going to love me, then would that have changed anything, or would you have still gone through with this? Like, that is what you wants to know. That's what we all want to know. Um, so we then say, like, what about those other convos? And we see the convo with him and Sophie again, which it's worse when you watch it back again. Katisha says she felt very hurt. Very true. I can't imagine feeling anything else. He says, I'm a jokey kind of guy, so, I was just joking with her. You're joking with her and basically asking her, oh, you live 5 minutes from here, or saying, oh, you're being bad, or whatever that else he said to her, but I'm a jokey guy. You're about to be a punch in the face guy. How about that? Cash me outside. How about that? And I'm like, okay, so wait a minute. Is you being a quote unquote jokey guy sure the hell looks like flirting to me, but I could be wrong. And we see in like the clip, in case we need that reminder, saying things like she was naughty, saying where do you live, as we said. And Sophie is here to kind of defend herself, and she says, I am sorry to Katisha, and she says it doesn't look flirty, but it was just joking. But we know it wasn't. That goes to show me that you also haven't changed, because no, that was not him being joking. Then we got talking about the photo booth, the pesky photo booth, and she's like, "Well, nothing happened." And she said, "But there was an argument, something that we heard him say, which still doesn't make me feel any better." Everyone was watching us, so we went into this photo booth because we didn't want to be seen while arguing because it blocks fucking suspicious. Anyone who is in a relationship with somebody else and we see you arguing with another woman, the fuck you need to argue with another woman for? Why? What are you doing? Why you know her so much like that you need to be fighting with her? That's why. You know what I mean? But anyways, um, Kadesha says, okay, but he was my fiance. You're flirting with him at the bar. And Javin says, I do apologize. I apologize in private. And Katisha says, do. I guess implying, and not to me. You didn't apologize to me. And Katisha says, in the morning, why didn't you tell me you were flirting? Because, honey, he was never going to tell you. He was banking on the fact that he would never have to tell you. He says, what did I say? I said, I talked to Yolanda, I talked to you. We're done here. But Emma says, we got a picture of the photo booth. Who wants to see the photo booth? And y'all, just like in the cuties moment, no blinds. No, nothing. No curtain. So, he's telling the truth. And Jevin says, I'm not mad that Megan told Khadijah. I'm mad about her wording. It's always, I'm mad at her about this. Or, I'm mad at, it's never his fault. It's always someone else's fault. Okay, so sorry guys, I had to take a quick break from before, so there might be some overlap to what I said. Well, just a few minutes ago for you guys. But yeah, so anyways, Jevin says that he's mad about how Megan worded things, basically saying like, "Oh, you were with Sophie the whole night." But here's my thing: if you remember from my last, when we kind of talked about this, and the fact that we saw him talking to Patrick, I'm like, okay, well, here's the thing: if Damola was there, speak to him because that is the person that I'm going to believe more so than anyone else. Damola's here, so let's talk to him about it now. But I'm not sure if he even really does speak on it. Unsure, but nonetheless, Megan says she stands by what she said. I changed nothing as she shouldn't because she was right. And then this is kind of where Katisha loses me. And I don't know if it's like she has to think the good out of people constantly or what. Like I don't know. Because she's been through this before. She's been with men, as she says, who has wronged her in the past. Yes, it is true you can think a person is a good person. And yes, some people are capable of change. But they are only capable of change once they acknowledge their wrongdoing. Jevin hasn't done that yet, nor do I think he would. Because the difference with Jevin, maybe versus maybe other men or people just in general, is he's a narcissist. Narcissists do not think they do anything wrong. They are always going to constantly double down. So Katisha says Jeffin is warm and he's caring, but he never showed me that. So then if you know he's warm and you know he's caring, then wouldn't you have to know that by experience? Not just based on something that you wanted to see him do or something you saw in the pods, which I personally didn't see it. You can't create this thing in your mind about a person unless you've experienced it. So it's kind of like, in a sense, she's kind of like an oxymoron here. She's like, he's warm, he's caring, but he just never showed me that. Well, then you can't speak to it then. Watching it back, she says, I felt like you didn't like me. And that is very true. It did feel that way. and he says that he did like her, which very maybe he did. I don't know. Um, but he was just I think it's possible for him to like her. I think it's possible for him to like any person. Doesn't change the fact that he is going to use your weaknesses against you, and he's going to ultimately cheat on you, you know? Um, he said, "I liked being around you." Maybe you did. Who knows? Then we kind of move on to a new Patrick situation, and we kind of go into, "You a liar." Patrick, spleen guy, um, he's not here because I guess his spleen told him not to show up. So he is not here to speak on his nonsense, but that is whatever. She says that she wishes she kept other connections open. Sure you do. She's like, I don't listen to my spleen. Of course not, because here's the thing. He literally says your spleen is much more reliable than your gut, yet you can live without your spleen. But you know what? It's fine. Whatever floats your boat. She's like, I didn't even know what a spleen was. Okay. Have you not? I mean, I don't know what a spleen really does. I think it has something to do with like the toxins or something. I don't freaking know. Flushing out toxins. What the hell do I know? But I know it's useless. I know it's there. Um, it's not that she doesn't know what it does. She's like, she didn't even know she never heard of it before. It's like, okay, but this is like a thing that's in your body, girl. You should kind of have some idea. But anyway, she's like, I thought it was the spine. No. Um, she's like, he wanted me to sing, so I sang for him. You're a liar. So, yeah, apparently Patrick may have been in a relationship when he came on the show. I never heard anything about this. I didn't hear anything about this. Um, but apparently that was potentially what was going on with him. Wouldn't be surprised because like the fact that he really had to find something to hang his hat on to break up with her in the pods, and it was such a simple thing as she won't sing for me. I think it's plausible. And not only that, like I mentioned, he isn't here, but he wrote a statement saying that he was single, so saying that he wasn't in a relationship when he was in the pods, but now he is focused on the next chapter of life, and that is becoming a father. Now, if we do the girl math here, it's been a year. Okay. So then does that mean you now he could have potentially been um gone back into another relationship with the person he's been with before. Who knows? But let's just pretend here. And sure shit happens. But let's just pretend here you're in a relationship with somebody for 3 months, 2 months, maybe even a month, depending on how far along she is. Well, not a month. That wouldn't make sense because we're talking it's a year out. So we'll say about 2 to 3 months, depending on where she's at in her pregnancy. You were with her for that long and you got her pregnant. I guess that again, shit happens. That wouldn't happen to me, but shit happens. Totally get it. But it just seems really interesting that he's about to be a father with someone that he's maybe was only with for less than a year. Or maybe he was holding this in the background in case nothing worked out for him on the show. I don't know. But it's weird. It's things that make you go, that's it. That's all. But anyways, we move on from that. We're at the end here. We got Kieran and Megan. Of course, they're happy. They got there still together because my goodness gracious, I don't know if we can handle this. But they are living together in London. They tried living separately, but it just wasn't working for them. And that's where they're at. Like, basically, they're good. that's all there is really to say. But with that, guys, that is the end of the season. This was a great season. I actually really enjoyed it. Um, so yeah. But anyways, for the main feed, you're getting this a week later after Patreon. Everything will be exclusive. Well, not exclusive, but early accesses on Patreon, and then it releases everywhere else on the main feed. So that would mean Love is Blind is the next thing that we are going into. Love is Blind season 9. And trust me, that's going to be just coming out because I have a bunch of the episodes ready to go. So that will be kind of what's happening. So again, those episodes will be exclusive to Patreon first, and then will be released on the main feed a week later. So you'll look out for those. And we'll also be doing Selling Sunset, but that will have to be done after Love is Blind. So that will probably be a little bit for me, but not too much longer because I am almost done Love is Blind. So was I almost done? I mean, like 4 episodes. Still probably have to go. But yeah, so that will be kind of coming after that. Plus we still have everything else that's going. We have kind of paused on like the 90-day universe and Seeking Sister Wife. We'll kind of jump back in a little bit. I will also say we can look out for the end of the season. I will be doing a little something on Golden Bachelor. Didn't actually hate it. I'm caught up too, so I don't hate it. So I figured, you know what, I'll do something at the end. I may do the same thing for HEA just to kind of go over, but I don't know if I will. I will see. But that's kind of that. That's what you can expect. Um Secret Lives and Mormon Wives are coming very soon too, which I'm so excited about. So that's coming very soon. So you can look out for that. What else? One other announcement would be Christmas schedule is going to be coming out very soon. I probably will do that not on a Love is Blind or like a Netflix episode, but you can look out for that. It'll probably be coming soon. Or I'll maybe do a separate episode altogether you guys can look out for. And then they'll be on the main um announcements at the, for episodes. And also on socials. It will be there so you know what to expect. There's a lineup. You guys are going to be, I won't be recording anything recent, but you guys will be good. You'll have a lot of episodes to go through. But, anyways, that is that, guys. That is it for this episode. So, if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there. And you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Week Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.